السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. After praising Allah Azza wa Jal and asking Him to make this gathering a gathering that is surrounded by the angels, and Allah Azza wa Jal will mention this gathering a better gathering in the heavens. The Shaykh is talking about a subject that's very important to us in our community, in our society nowadays, which is the rights of our children. The children is something that is bestowed on us, that we have to take care of their rights. Allah Azza wa Jal will ask us about this amana. The orphan, in our definition, is someone who has no parents, or who have no father or mother, and they died while he's still, didn't reach the age of puberty. However, that's one definition. But the other definition is even when he has parents, but they are ignoring him, or they're ignoring his rights, he's also an orphan. When a mother is leaving her duties at home, to take care of the kids, to take care of the family, so she could go and work for whatever dollar amount that she's trying to get. She is leaving behind a great responsibility of taking care of those kids to someone else. And when this is lost, this is the first school that the kids will be missing. And when the fathers, especially nowadays, are too busy with their work, that they leave from dawn until dusk, until sunrise set, or when they come late at night from their work, thinking that them staying at work, trying to make the money, is the most important thing for the family, and ignoring the rights of the kids, of being there with their kids. And they sometimes leave that right to the weekend. And even in the weekend, a lot of times, most of these parents either too tired to spend some time with their kids, or they are too busy to go back to work. And they forget to put that balance to take care of the rights of the kids. The Shaykh today is talking about some of those rights of the kids. He's going to talk about 4 rights. The first one is an-nasab, which is like who you belong to, your fatherhood, your parenthood. And the second one is ar-rida, the right of the feeding, and then taking care of the kids to raise them, and also the spending the money on them. The first issue he's talked about is al-nasab. And there is a rule in Islam that you can always find a shara, the one who permit things, which is Allah Azza wa Jal. And you always find that there is an encouragement to take care of 2 things: to stop slavery, to prevent slavery, and to allow freeing people in the sake of Allah, and also to prove the parenthood. You find a lot of areas in Islam when someone commits some kind of sin, like if somebody killed someone by mistake, that you find Allah Azza wa Jal is encouraging or ordering. One of the things that you have to do is to free a slave. Because when you are enslaving someone, you are killing him. But when you are freeing him, you are providing life to that soul. At the same time also, Islam is always encouraging the proof of parenthood. And when it comes to parenthood, the proof of parenthood, you will find that Islam proves parenthood by the weakest proof. However, it denies that parenthood by the strongest proof. And when we're talking about the strongest proof, we're not talking about DNA. Even though a lot of people nowadays, they think DNA is the best proof there is in solving that problem of parenthood. However, in Islam, that might add as a proof to the parenthood of the proof of somebody is the father of someone, but it does not deny it. The only way you can deny it is when there is a li'an, and the li'an is when someone is asking Allah's curse on him if he is lying and he is saying that his wife has committed adultery. And in that moment, he's putting himself on the edge of hellfire. Because if he is accusing her wrongfully, he's throwing himself in the hellfire. Because this is a great issue in Islam in protecting the society that Allah Azza wa Jal don't want us to take it for granted. If a man is married to a woman and she had a baby after 6 months, this is the least amount. This is the least amount for pregnancy to be approved by in Islam. If she gave birth after 6 months, that's the baby of that father and that marriage. So it's not like 7 months or so. Because in the Book of Allah, when Allah has given the right of breastfeeding for 24 months, and the whole amount of feeding and carrying the baby of 30 months. If you deduct this one from this, you have 6 months. And that's the least that Allah Azza wa Jal has put in the Quran, or explained to us and defined to us in the Quran. However, that could be only allowed if there is a marriage between a man and a woman, and that's the only way, by the way. But if there is a marriage, you can only say that this baby is there if there is a possibility that they met. Like if I were to marry someone from overseas, but she never came here, I never went there. If she got pregnant, that baby is not mine. You cannot say that's mine. But if there is a possibility that she came in, even for whatever short period of time, and we met, we went, had coffee together, and we are married, then because of that possibility, then that boy, even though there's a weak possibility, but still it's mine. Unless, the only thing that, disproves that, of course, if the man is empty that he cannot have a baby for medical reasons. And the maximum days after a divorce, that the baby could be said that belongs to that man, is 1 year. A lot of people think it's the 9 months, which is that logical thing, because most babies, they come after 9 months of pregnancy. But the maximum amount, because there are so many medical criteria in this, is 1 year. That's after a divorce. And look at this, when there is this issue of a baby coming and he looks like someone else beside the father. How does Islam deal with this issue? When there is a baby and he looks more like another person beside the father, do you take by the way the boy looks, or by his father, or because, we slept with his mother or they were together? In Islam, the Prophet ﷺ has judged that the baby belongs to the father, not to someone that he looks like. When there is a baby and he looks more like another person beside the father, do you take by the way the boy looks, or by his father, or because, we slept with his mother or they were together? In Islam, the Prophet ﷺ has judged that the baby belongs to the father, not to someone that he looks like. And there's a story that happened between Sa'd ibn Waqqas, who claimed that this boy, he looks like the brother who passed away, and he told him to take care of him after his death. And in that way, he's accusing the mother of that boy that she slept with Sa'd ibn Waqqas' brother. And Abd ibn Zum'a, he claimed, no, that's the son of my father who had a jariyah, who had a slave with him, and she gave birth to that boy, and that's his son, his father's son, so that's his brother-in-law. So when they disputed this issue with the Prophet ﷺ, Sa'd ibn Waqqas is saying, he looks like my brother. And Abd ibn Zam'a said, no, this is my brother-in-law who came, whom my father, had a slave, and that's her son. So what did the Prophet ﷺ? He said, the boy belonged to his home, to the person who is known that, like to his mother. Al-Firash here is someone that who rightfully...
It's a legal relationship.
The legal relationship, who had the legal relationship with that mother. And so he said the boy belongs to the father who was with that legal relationship. And al-ahir, al-hajar, that means the person who accused the woman with zina, with adultery, he will get al-hajar. Al-hajar here is stone. Of course, the accusation for committing adultery, the had that Allah Azza wa Jal has given is to throw him with stones, to stone him to death. And also it could mean...
يعني بس accuse me. تقصد أن يتهم بالزنا يعني ولا الذي اتهمه بالزنا؟
الذي اتهم. هذا مش هو الذي يرجع له الحجر.
يعني الذي اتهم.
The one who is accusing, I mean, even though he passed away in this case, but he got the hajar, meaning he is getting the disappointment, or he is getting the humiliation of not being right in this case. Okay? And he told his wife to cover up from him. So if you look in here, there's so many things that we can learn. First of all, that the boy belongs to his father, the one who has the legal or the legitimate relationship with the mother. The second thing, this is to prove the parenthood. However, when it comes to the dealing between people, he told, so put your cover or put your hijab, or سوداء بالتزمع. So he told her to put the hijab on. This is to protect the society. However, how come we don't take by the DNA evidence? When this DNA issue was gathered to the scholars about this, they said there's not a problem to use it in certain cases, like when in the hospitals, and there's like a big mix-up in the hospitals. And so many babies, all babies look the same, right? So if there's a mix-up, you cannot say, oh, this is my son, this is no. So the DNA here could come handy to prove the parenthood in case of a major mix-up in the hospital, or places of birth, where there's so many babies that was mixed up for whatever reason, and that could happen. I mean, you could use the DNA. Also after catastrophes, like earthquakes, floods, and so on, to know whose baby is whose, there's not a way to identify them except by the DNA. Also, in knowing the criminals, to identify the criminals. However, when it comes to identifying the criminals, you can use the DNA in any case except the cases that you use the hudud Allah, or like, for example, adultery or killing. Because, for example, when it comes to adultery, for example, someone is committing adultery, you don't use DNA to prove that he committed adultery. Because Allah Azza wa Jal has required that you come with witnesses. So the witnesses is the ones that you have to prove, that will prove adultery, not the DNA. Because this is Allah's rule. This is what Allah Azza wa Jal asks us to do in those cases of adultery. And so on when it comes to death. Also in some other areas when the judge wanted to use the DNA to calm people in certain occasions, certain circumstances, to prove or to eliminate whatever bad thoughts a person might have, but not the other way around. Not to prove that, because to prove that this is not the son of the father. Again, if the father could say that this is not my son, again, he has to do is to make that curse on him if he is lying about his accusation that this is not his son. And this is a big issue. Only a judge from an Islamic country could decide that, not it's not like something like a group of people could decide on this. Allah. The second right, which is the breastfeeding that the mother do give to the child or the born. That right is obligatory on the woman, on the mother. It's obligatory on her to give her child that breastfeeding as long as she's in that marriage, whether she's still in by her agreement, like staying in normal time with her husband, or like she is divorced, the first divorce where she could be returned, and I'll explain that in a minute. But that's her obligatory right that she have to do to give to her child, and she don't deserve any compensation for it, unless there is a medical excuse. Unless there is a medical excuse that could affect her health or the baby's health. Now, when I talked about as long as she's in the marriage, of course, if she's normally married, that's her duty. That's her duty to her child that she have to do. She should not ask for any compensation for it. But if she is divorced, and the first time a person divorces a woman, she stays in the house, she cannot leave, and the man cannot force her out of the house. And this is the order of Allah Azza wa Jal, just like He ordered us to accept His rules into the marriage. This is the rules of divorce. So if he were to divorce her while she's still pure, like she don't have her period on, then he should not touch her, and he do not, be with her until she has her period. Okay. Then after she has her period, then he has the choice of either stay with her or divorce her. And the Prophet ﷺ was mad at the son of Umar when he divorced his wife when she was in her period. And he ordered his father to take her back, keep her until she purified herself from that period. She will have another period. She gets her period, then she's purified, then she will have her period again. And then after that, he can divorce her. Yeah, after she passed that second period, not the first one, the second one. That's to show you that it's not a matter of just you want to divorce, you just throw the woman out of the house or you keep her out of the house. Now, if a woman is beyond that period where Allah Azza wa Jal has ordered the woman to feed her kids for 2 years. Now, if she, if in the case of divorce, if she has finished the term of what we call al-idda, which is the time she is allowed to stay with her husband during that divorce, that first divorce, if she has finished that period, okay. Now, after that, she could still continue breastfeeding the child, and if she wished, she can take a compensation. She can take some money in return. And if what she's asking for is way too high, now there's two things in here. if she's asking for a high price to feed her baby, but the man is capable, then then he have to pay her for that price. But if he is not capable, I mean, he's not capable financially to afford whatever she's asking for, then he had the choice of looking for someone else beside her to feed the baby during that time. And the only time that a woman has no choice after that period of the divorce is expired, the only time that she has no choice to take any compensation for, if that child will not refuse, to take any other woman beside his mother. If that's the only person that he will feed from, then she's obliged to feed her baby and not to ask for a compensation.
يعني تجبر على الله لكن لا تجبر على ذكر يعني هو قضية.
Okay, she has to breastfeed the baby. The baby cannot go to another woman, but that does not mean that she don't. She has that right to take compensation from her husband if she wishes. But look at the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jalla. When a woman breastfeeds her child for the whole period, and maybe tonight we have someone who had that, but anyway. But if a woman goes through that time and she did not ask for compensation, she did not ask for money during that time when she deserved, if she wishes to take that money, can she ask for all that time that she breastfed the baby? Yes. Because, and there is a difference between what she's doing and between if some other woman wanted to breastfeed the baby. If another woman wants to do that, that's her contribution, that's her donation to that family to do so without any compensation. But for the woman, for the mother, she always has that emotion of motherhood when she's holding that baby, that she always wants to take care of that baby. She always wants to give to that baby. That's the natural, emotional motherhood that every mother has. So even though she did not ask for that money during the breastfeeding, and that time has expired, she still can ask for that to have compensation, to have some money for that period that she spent breastfeeding her baby. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla don't want that woman, even though she might be married to someone else, to be a burden on the new family, on the new father. That he wants to you can see the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jalla in the way that He have put the rules for us in our social lives. If you look at them and study them, you find the mercy and the kindness of Allah Azza wa Jalla in putting those rules, where He leaves the unjust burdens on the new husband or on the mother herself. Inshallah, we will talk about the other two issues after the prayer song. The third right that we can discuss is called the right of al-haram. And the definition for this right is to preserve the child and to protect him from anything that can harm him, and to raise him until he is capable to take care of himself. Now, in the first stages of childhood, the woman has the right of custody of the child, to take care of him, to raise him, to protect him. That's by agreement by most of the scholars. The Prophet ﷺ told a woman who came to him that she had the right of the child unless she gets married. And this is a very important rule that we need to remember, that he told her that you have that right to have that child, to have custody of the child, to raise him, to protect him, until you get married. Uh, and Ibn Abbas came to the Prophet ﷺ trying to, after his divorce, trying to get his child. Ibn Abbas related that a man came to him and asked him for the custody of his child. And the Prophet ﷺ told him, in general, some of the words meaning, that the comfort of the mother, her love, him being with her, is better for the child than anybody else. This is the statement of Ibn Abbas. And whoever, try to separate the child from his mother, Allah Azza wa Jalla will separate him from those that he loved at the Day of Judgment. Now, what time or how long would the child be in the custody of his mother? We said that the mother has the right of the child until she gets married. But for how long? Now, there is a difference in opinion on this. In the Hanafi madhab, the boy stays with his mother until he's 7 years old, and the girls until they are 9 years old. In the Maliki madhab, the boy stays with his mother until he reaches the age of puberty, and the woman or the female stays with her mother until she gets married. In the Shafi'i madhab, both of them, male and female, stay with their mother until they're 7 years old, and then they decide, they get the choice whether they want to stay with their mother or go to their father. The madhab of Hanbali madhab, from 7 until the age of 7, then the girl will go to her father and the boy will have that choice. Now, in all these differences in opinion between the four major madhab, what do we do in here? Which way would the child go? Now, there is a rule that we all need to know, that the custody of the child always attached to the benefit of the child himself. So wherever there is a benefit, wherever the benefit of the child is, that's where the custody will go. That's where the right will go. And if there is something that's obvious that the mother is doing, like she's on drugs, she's alcoholic, that's so obvious, then she loses that right of custody of the child. And if the judge, a Muslim judge, who judged by the rules of Allah, had decided an issue of the custody of the child, then once he decides, it's the end of that dispute itself. You cannot come in and say, well, no, this judgment that he made, he took the Hanbali madhab, and I'm Shafi. Or, no, that's it. It's accepted, the case is closed, nobody can reopen that dispute again. If a Muslim judge has decided on a dispute. Now, also the Imam, or the people who are in charge, and there could be a variety of leadership in the country itself. We're talking about a Muslim country. Then you have to be obeyed in the places of ijtihad, of ijtihad in the matter. And if there is a dispute in the house between the man and the woman, of course the man is the one who's going to make the decision, and the woman has to abide by it. However, she had that right to disagree with her. She can disagree with that judgment, but she had to abide by his judgment when there is a dispute between them. Even though he might be wrong, and she knows that he's wrong. But she had that right to disagree with him, but she had to follow. And of course, when we're talking about these, when there is no dispute between the parents, when there is a normal marriage, we're not talking about, of course, the custody is for both men and women. But we're we're talking like when there is some exceptions, when there is divorce, when there is disputes between the parents. Now, the Imam of the Islamic Center outside a Muslim country, the Imam of the Islamic Center outside the Muslim country can replace the judgment of a judge in Islamic country. And the scholar, the Imam of the Masjid, can replace the judgment of a scholar because that's the only Islamic alternative outside an Islamic country or an Islamic where there is no Islamic rules that's applied. And that's concerned, of course, family issues that we should. And trust me, that the laws of this country in particular, they like to settle these disputes in the mosque than to have them go to the court where it's too expensive. Now, if there's another rule, if there is no people who are in charge of the people's affairs, then affairs goes to the scholars, the Muslim scholars that exist at that time, and they will replace the people who are in charge, the rulers and so on. Now, the last issue that we're talking about here: can a woman ask for compensation for taking care of her child, for that custody of the child? Now, again, in the normal marriage, when a man and a woman are married and they had a child, not blessing with that child, and the man goes to work and she's taking care of that child, that's her right, that's her duties as a wife to take care of that child without asking for compensation, without asking for an ajr. But when there is a dispute, when they are separated, and the woman has already fulfilled her period after the divorce, that would make her divorcee after that, then she might ask for compensation or ask for money for the custody of the children. And in that custody, in that money that she's asking for, that could go not only for her kids, food, clothes, and a place, also for her herself, to take care of herself as far as her food and her clothes in her, and also the place that she stays in. So that should be put in consideration. That when a man wants to divorce his wife and the divorce is over with, that he not only had to take care of the kids, but also the mother was taking care of these kids. Now, if there is someone else who are not like among the parents who wants to voluntarily take care of the kids, like the man's sister or aunt or some relative or a neighbor or someone who is not not the mother or father, then the man don't want to pay for the child support. He don't want to pay for taking care of his kids and his wife. And he thinks that, I have my sister, she can take care of the kids, and it'll be cheaper for me. Well, it will be looked at his financial situation. If he's capable of taking care of the mother and the kids, then the kids should always stay with their mother. The kids should always stay with their mother, because that's the source of love and affection and emotions. So always, they will stay with their mother. But if he cannot afford that, he cannot afford to pay for this, then it will be looked at the situation differently. And always the affair of the child is more, does not receive any other right. And for him to stay with his mother is better than for that child to be raised somewhere else. Now, how the order goes, if he cannot afford to take care of her, then the custody of these children or the child will go to the mother's mother, to the grandmother from the mother side, the female side. So she has the first priority of taking care of the kids if that man cannot afford paying for it. If she's not responsible.
يعني فوق كده لازم نعيش على
If she is, I'm sorry. If she
شيء يخلق المسلم.
if the woman is not there, she can think that whomever gets the custody, not the father automatically, it goes to her mother. After her is the father. But if the father cannot himself take care of the kids, then it goes to his father, and then it goes to his grandfather, and then to his mother, and so on, from the process to this. This is in general, what the rules are. Inshallah, there is one more right. Inshallah, we'll discuss on Thursday. Inshallah,
Quick question about after the talaq. Is it about the waiting period? Is it the actual period or the the time of period between the period?
والمطلقات اللي تربصن بأنفسهن ثلاثة قروء. إذا كانت المرأة من ذوات الحيض فإنها تتربص على النظر ثلاث قروءات. إن كانت كبيرة قد يأست منها أو صغيرة لم تبلغ زمن المحيض فإنها تعتد بالأشهر ثلاثة أشهر. لقوله تعالى في سورة الطلاق واللاتي يئسن من المحيض من النساء فعدتهن ثلاثة أشهر واللاتي لم